Good evening, Patriots. Welcome back to Just the News, No Noise. I'm Ed Henry reporting from West Palm Beach, Florida. One of the great treats I have to fill in for John and Amanda this week is to bring on some friends of mine and let you, if you haven't seen their shows yet, just like you saw Mr. Bannon with The War Room, we're going to have Karen Turk and Terrence Bates in a few moments from American Sunrise. Let's bring in Damon Roberts live from Studio 6B. You can catch him tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. There he is. Merry Christmas, sir. I hope you and your family are well.
Merry Christmas, Ed. How are you? I hope you had a great weekend and Happy New Year coming up. Obviously, it was a great weekend. I hope yours was as well.
It absolutely was. Although I know from following you on YouTube and Facebook and everywhere else, you were not too happy about that $1.7 trillion spent by not just the Democrats, but Rhino Republicans right before the weekend. And Chip Roy is one of the only House Republicans who's really laying it on the line and calling out these rhinos. I'm going to play the clip and let you react. Watch.
I'll tell you what happened in the Senate today. Blunt, Boozman, Capito, Collins, Cornyn, Cotton, Graham, Inhofe, McConnell, Moran, Murkowski, Portman, Romney, Rounds, Shelby, Thune, Wicker, and Young. 18 Republicans who campaign on fiscal responsibility, who campaign on securing the border, who campaign on balancing the budget, who campaign against the swamp, who run commercials saying they're going to change this place, did the swampiest thing you can possibly do, and that is to vote for a 4,100-page bill they got just yesterday, not knowing remotely what all is in the bill because it was cooked up behind closed doors with no appropriation meetings, jamming it over a new House Republican majority, doing it intentionally to prevent us from being able to debate and vote on how we're going to fund Ukraine, how we're going to fund our own national defense, how we're going to fund non-defense discretionary spending, and ensure that we use that money to secure the border of the United States.
And Damon, Chip Roy is saying those 18 Republicans he named, Romney, McConnell, if they introduce a bill in the new Congress, and they're in the minority in the Senate, as you know, and they try to send it over to the House, they're going to block it. And they're going to say, we got the majority here, and we're not moving anything for these 18 who basically ran away from the party, ran away from this country. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Chip Roy, the next day after that, I believe that was a speech he gave once it passed the Senate. The next day, once it went over to the House, he gave an even more blistering speech because he knows, and what we all know is that everything that's wrong with the country right now is embodied in this 4,100-page omnibus bill negotiated by Mitch McConnell. And here's the little secret. It's supported by the majority of the Senate Republicans. You know, even as they disagreed, Republicans and Democrats, they really agree on about 98, 99% of the budget. And they agree on 100% of the policies. That's the bottom line. That's the thing that we just can't get by. They agree. This is why I argued leading up to Election Day that did it really matter if it was 50-50, 51-49, 52-48? Right. It didn't matter. Focus on the governorships, focus on the state legislatures, because we're going to have much more impact there. Than when Mitch McConnell, who's telling us providing assistance for Ukraine and the Russians to beat the Russians is the number one priority, according to him and all the Republicans he's talking to.
Which is crazy.
Those are the challenges that he wants to confront. They all should have a U in front of their name for Uniparty, yeah. Ed.
There you go. I want to take it a step further because we just had Colonel Robert Maness on, and he was basically saying, if you want to deal with big tech and the FBI and the CIA and the government censorship, you got to start zeroing out budgets. You got to start taking money away. And guess what? What Chip Roy is saying is that the rhinos of the Senate just gave that power away for the next year. Bannon was on the show earlier too. He was saying Pelosi's basically still speaker for another year because whether it's McCarthy or Scalise's speaker, they don't have the power of the purse for a year because they just extended this budget. It's crazy.
Yeah, they give all their leverage away. They always do. Mitch McConnell always has. He gets whooped around by Pelosi and Schumer for all the time. Anytime the debt ceiling comes up, anytime the government shutdown argument comes up, he always loses it. He's unable to stand in front of a camera and tell us what we stand for. He can't articulate the message. Here we get more bills that just fleece the American people, dropped like he said, Chip Roy said, dropped at 1:30 in the morning, supposed to be voted on 2 days later. Again, the dirty truth is this. The Senate Republicans are more supportive of the World Economic Forum agenda than even Biden is. That's the truth. And until we all start dealing with that, we're getting nowhere with this leadership and with this party.
Talking about rhinos in the party, people under fire right now, George Santos. Just got elected on Long Island, where you are, as a moderate Republican. I don't know what he is, though. New York Times story, who is George Santos? Turns out he's now admitting that a lot of what they reported was right, that he lied on his resume about, where he went to school, where he worked, and now who he was married to. And now it appears that he didn't tell the whole truth about his religion. And he just did some interviews there in New York, where you are. And he said something, I couldn't believe it until I heard it with my own ears, that he's not Jewish, he's Catholic. He's not Jewish, he's Jew, ish, like ish. Let's play the clip and I'll let you react.
Do I wish you a happy Hanukkah or a Merry Christmas?
So, as I've said many times, and I think you've heard me say this, I always joke, I'm Catholic, but I'm also Jew-ish, as in ish. And I've made that joke because growing up, I grew up fully aware that my grandparents were Jewish, came from a Jewish family, and they were refugees to Brazil. And that was always the story I grew up with, and I've always known it very well. And I've told it the way it was told to me. Now, if it just strikes me so odd that people are rushing to disinherit me from being Jewish, or for even allowing to care for Israel and Judaism in a time and era where anti-Semitism is at an all-time rise.
I don't know if this is real life or a Seinfeld episode when I hear that, but moving forward, I got a minute. If the left pushes them out, though, we're going to take out Elizabeth Warren? She lied about being an Indian.
Yeah, well, that's the key, right? The guy's clearly a lying fraud, and that's my first thought. My second thought is he fits right in with the rest of them. Our government's made up of total frauds at this point. It's just a matter of where on the fraudometer that you land. That's your level of fraud. He's Jew-ish. Maybe he thought he was going to be on a show on ABC. I don't know, but you said it. If he has to resign, I'm fine with that as long as the Republicans decide that. Stop placating to people who hate you. If he goes, Fauci, Schiff, Warren, Swalwell, Omar, Blumenthal, every Dem who's in an MSM chair every night, they all go with him.
Wow. If you like what you just heard, watch my friend Damon, 8 p.m. Eastern, live from Studio 6B. Damon, appreciate it. Coming up, my pals from American Sunrise, Karen Turk, Terrence Bates, giving you a little preview of what you'll see tomorrow morning. Coming up next.